And
buckling.
suddenly your ears are like sticking. They're like,
Mask ears.
if they could wiggle, like
I know.
Spock.
Like wait,
What was-
no, Sloth from Goonies. Chunk.
I freaking love that movie. I love that you were able to pull the reference out. I was like, what was it?
We've
With the
had so
wiggly
many
ears.
times. I know. Okay.
Shit, my stomach hurts.
So
Okay.
we should.
All right, I'm gonna call somebody.
Let's call. Okay. Call away.
All right, let's see. We're getting a guest on.
We're getting a guest today.
We're gonna, yeah, let's see.
Well, I'm
All right.
adjusting my beautiful mask.
Turn up my, oh, that's my ringtone. That'd be really loud. Okay.
I'll just be quiet and let it happen.
Hello there.
Andrew,
Hi, Andrew.
we're good.
Hey,
Christy's with me.
Is that Christy?
It
Yes.
is.
How are you?
Oh, hello.
What are you doing right now?
We're in your neighborhood.
You're in Englewood right now.
We're in Englewood. You need to come downstairs. Come downstairs and walk half a block to the left.
Okay.
Come take a ride.
Yeah, give me a minute. I'll be right there.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Cool. Our first guest was
All right,
available
he's
for
coming.
our ride.
He's
All right.
coming.
Coming in.
This is our friend Andrew. Andrew needs no introduction.
Andrew's very funny.
Yes.
I think Andrew's very funny.
Andrew is brilliant and funny and
Deep.
charismatic
Yes.
and deep and
Organized.
full of wisdom.
Yes. And ponders life.
Yes. And we are so going to put him on the spot, and it's going to be a bunch of delicious fun.
It is kind of fun when you put fun people on the spot.
Yeah. I kind of love being put on the spot.
Oh, I'm gonna
It makes my brain think. Oh, you please. You
I mean,
have
not
an open
this
forum.
moment.
No, I mean not right
That's
now.
tough. Next-
Whenever.
Yeah.
You have my full permission.
We do have to have comedy. Now, it could be dangerous to drive and laugh that hard.
We have to order an Uber. We'll order
Yeah.
an Uber, and then we'll just
We'll
set
just-
the phone on his dashboard.
Right.
We'll
Don't touch it. Just leave it.
We'll be in the back, leaning.
Leaning in, right, exactly. Yeah, I might have to close this depending, because he's going to have lots of,
Is he walking?
did you go
I
left?
saw him come out. I
He
don't know.
did.
Did he come
Did
out
he
the
go
wrong
right?
way?
You
Now,
told
did I
him
say
left.
Andrew was smart?
You did. You can't correct it now.
When he came down, if he had walked to the left, that would have brought him to us, no?
Oh, yes.
I said
Is that the
left.
door right there? No, it's right by Florentina.
He,
Florentia.
I think he went. You
He
see
did
him
come out.
cross
Did
the
you see him come
street?
out?
I thought I saw him walking.
And this is the introduction to Andrew.
Yes,
When we
we'll
say
have
left, he
to-
goes right.
Oh,
We'll wait for
where's
him
my
to go
phone?
around the block and walk back.
Right. I'll be
doesn't
like,
even
oh, if
know
you went to Starbucks, could you pick me up something?
Yeah. A little bit ice cream tea unsweet, please. Speaking of, I'm like, I already have to pee, and I normally am fine.
See, I think he's over there.
On the
Is
other
that him?
side? Where? Oh, dude. Is that Andrew?
Yes.
He crossed the street.
He's a coming.
He's coming. All right. We'll have to have his, what's this going on here? I want
You are going to be navigating through the city streets.
I'm just going to go up to Woodland. Because it's nicer. Did I unlock the doors?
There you go.
Enter Andrew. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Ooh,
Thank
So,
you for being our very first guest.
Yeah, you're on video. so
I'm a guest.
Say hi.
hey.
Should I kind of go like that so you can see?
Oh, I love this. The
Do you
brighter
want-
the better for me.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
We
Ooh.
can see. Look how nicely he fits
Hey.
right in the screen.
Look at Look at his gorgeous skin glowing.
So we're
in the
kidnapping
sun.
you.
Yeah.
For a
Is
few
that okay?
minutes.
I'm a fan of kidnapping in the right, in
The right setting.
Let me take that back.
Yeah,
actually.
right, exactly. We don't need any cartels coming to get you. God knows what you're into.
We're like, where did he go?
By the way, is this mine?
Did you bring it
I
in?
can't remember.
It is.
Okay,
Because there
I
was
will-
nothing there until
we
you
can't-
got there. This is mine.
Right? Okay, this is my water. I'm just taking a sip. Hold
This
that
is a
thought.
lovely vehicle.
Oh my gosh, thank you. This
Yeah.
was like, my cousin works for this car company and was like, guess what? There's a
fell out of the
PIN
back of the
program for friends and family. Do you need a car? I'm like, I actually do.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I got like a super amazing deal.
I like the little red Rover Sport. It's red.
Oh,
I think I want that one. That's gonna
You
go
like
on
the
my
red?
vision board. I do like the red, yeah.
It's on your vision board?
I have to print it out and put it on my vision
That's
board.
great.
Yes.
Big fan of the vision board.
So Andrew,
So,
we're gonna
so
interview
you're in the
you.
hot seat.
Yeah, we
Yes.
have some. Well, we're not so much
No.
interviewing you
No,
as
we're
we are
not.
dragging you into. So Christy and I do this thing, which you know of.
And if you're
Which,
hot, I feel like you can
No,
adjust.
man,
I
you gotta
think
keep
you
the
can.
air on.
yeah,
for
this is
me.
perfect.
Like put on the temp that you're good with.
So we like to chat and
sorry.
oh my God!
Everybody
Welcome
is-
to New Jersey.
Look, I was helping
Like
my
the light was
passenger
green
back
for
it up.
7 seconds, people.
That's right.
How dare you?
So I'm such a calm driver that it so doesn't even faze
Doesn't
me.
even-
I'm like,
yeah.
you obviously need to get where you're
I
going
want to
more.
get out of the car and wave and be like, oh, were you not
I'm like,
calling me?
Hey, he could have somewhere to be, right? I mean,
right,
we
so
don't
then
know.
he
No,
right.
of course. I wasn't being nasty. I'm just saying I want to get out and be like, hey, hi, back to you.
After you, look, I did it again.
And there's no
you
way
really
to like
need to-
honk like nicely either. It's
No.
not like there's a different sound.
Could you
know?
imagine though? That'd be a great feature on a car.
Do-do-do-do-do.
To be like, doot, 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 excuse me, the light has been green, please commence forward.
Please lift your foot off the
Thank
brake.
you.
Have a wonderful, magical day.
Like a tone, almost like a tone setting, right? Like,
Yes.
so when you're angry, it's just like,
It's like, doot, doot, yeah. So my mom's old car used to have a button horn, which was awesome because you don't have to, like mine, I hit it 3 times before it recognizes I wanted to make
Oh,
well,
a
it wants to make sure, like,
Yeah.
are you certain about this aggressiveness, right?
correct. But with the
Do
button
you want to
horn,
be
it's
this
like,
aggressive or do you want a little less aggression?
yes. Okay, so
all
we
right,
thought of a
let's-
question that we were going to ask you, so you can talk to our huge audience of fans.
I mean, this following is
Huge, there's abundant following. So the question is, what's the meaning of life? I'm
Ooh.
kidding, although
Rewind.
I literally know that you would actually try to answer
No,
that
right.
question. No, I was joking.
Genuinely excited about that.
I
I'll have
know.
my thesis
We'll
on that.
work
though.
our way up
Yes.
to that one, but it's
No,
not
go
this
ahead.
day.
We are going to
It's
work
not
up. No, but
today.
I have a question I think you're actually going to love. And I want to phrase it properly. So let me see if I can find it again.
It's, yeah,
2 seconds. It was the way that it was phrased
Right,
was like
okay.
really. Okay.
it's a good one.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Does a person's name influence the person they become?
You know, I think there's definitely, I think there's a correlation to like expectations, like of a name to what we do in life.
Yeah.
My father's name's Erwin, so it took him about 50 years for that to become normal. No, I do think. I mean, imagine, you know, those that are juniors and thirds and all that comes with
That's
that.
interesting. I didn't even
I
think
didn't
about
even
that.
think about it either. That's why I love Andrew.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think but that's the main thing, right? It's not like, you know, I think about Joaquin. So Joaquin's my youngest, and not many people know a Joaquin, right? And
I only
so-
know one, and he's an Oscar winner. So,
Yes.
I mean, I think your Joaquin's
I
destined for
hold
greatness
Joaquin
right
as
there.
a high level.
Yeah.
I
Love
do.
that.
For sure.
So the question was, does it influence? What was it?
Yeah, does it influence
Who they become
who they become?
in their life? Or could it influence?
Yeah, I think
Do you
it plays
think-
a role.
Does it
I don't know.
influence the person they become? Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if it's like you're confined to anything in particular, but I think if you let it, like, oh, my name's Andrew, like I can only be, you know, this or that, like, and therein lies the power of our teachers, right? So we can constantly refine and redefine these words and names, right?
So I kind of wonder if you subscribe to the idea that the universe is in full control, right? And like it's kind of guiding us in ways to do certain things.
Hell yeah. I subscribe.
Yeah.
So if we subscribe to that, then is it possible that the universe somehow influences the names that we choose for our children because of how our children are pre-designed to grow up? Because I was telling Christy earlier that like I love the name Max, so I'm a Gladiator. Gladiator is like literally one of my favorite movies, like all time. And I lobbied hard to name Jake Maximus.
She lost.
And I was like, we don't have to call him Maximus,
She
like we
lost.
can call him Max.
Right.
And Juan was like not really for this idea, which was so funny to me. I was like, Max is a fucking great name.
It's a very strong
It's
name.
a strong name, right?
Yeah.
And my son is now Jacob,
Jacobus.
and Jacobus. And, you know, I don't believe that he exhibits the same kind of outward strength that a Max would exhibit. This is totally me in my head, because I'm sure that there are Maxes out there that are like super sensitive. My son is strong and sensitive and kind and I'm just not saying he is not a strong person. I am just saying that to me, his personality represents so much more through Jacob than it would through Max.
Very interesting.
So on that though, right? Like they say, like the first 7 years of our lives are where all the programs are sort of established, right?
Yeah.
And so we sort of project our expectations onto our children, right?
Knowing or
In-
unknowing.
in most
Many
cases, yeah.
unknowing also, I think.
Oh yeah.
Unconsciously doing that.
Yeah, okay, I could agree with that
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you saw, like, you see Maximus as, well, if you say it like that, I mean, I think we all see.
If
I
he
see
would have had a
shirtless
sword
man.
by the age of 6, you
I
know?
see a badass fighting a tiger right now with no shirt on.
Yes.
No, but like you could have easily, I'm not saying you did this, but like you could have easily, every time you got angry, been like, yeah, you are not a Maximus. And then all of a sudden, like he becomes.
I would never have ever done that.
But he would become
I
like.
mean, now I know what kind of parent you are, but
Joaquin, rehearse the scene again. Again. More emotion.
finish your thought.
I
Though,
know.
not
No,
sorry.
it makes
Is it
me
gone?
wonder, like, what if these
We would then.
like these associations with names that we have, you know, like if you name your child Steve after Steve Jobs, you obviously have these
Ooh.
conscious and unconscious,
Right.
you know, expectations that they may or may not be able to live up to. But
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that they're ultimately going to become, like, either way, their experience creates purpose, and they're going to define their name
Yeah.
and be who they're supposed to be, regardless of their name.
Right.
No,
Right.
there's truth to that, because there are people who change their names too based on who they become. I mean, usually those changes are super, like they'll change. Sally suddenly becomes, you know, Star-Lord.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
Very large leaps.
right, like a very spiritual, like, you know. So in that case,
Yeah.
you know, you could argue that no. So I definitely don't think it's universal across the board.
I, for one, I was like, when you said this question, I don't think I ever thought of it that way. But I was saying another time that I deeply associate certain names with, there was no way in hell I'm naming my kid that because of the people I met with that name.
Right.
Like,
right.
hardcore.
Okay, I definitely, okay.
Right? Don't we
Yes.
all have that?
Yeah.
But I never really thought about I mean, I picked the names of my kids because I freaking adored their names. That, and I didn't think anything past it. I didn't know big
Yeah, it was
like
just
examples
how
in
it
history
sounded.
or
Just
like yeah,
like
yeah,
these
yeah,
names.
yeah.
Wait, what's your son's name?
Justin,
And your daughter?
Megan.
Megan and Justin.
Yeah. I mean, his is like the Just, which kind of is.
just he
And
just
she's just like
he's just.
hilarious. So I mean, I don't know. It was they were just picked out of just love.
Yeah.
But
Can you picture them now though being any other name?
No.
Do you feel like they embody their name?
I feel like they do.
Yeah.
I feel like they do. Yeah. I feel like anyone that I've ever known with the name Megan has been like same with the name Katie to me. Big personality, very funny.
I wonder why you think
Oh,
that.
good Lord, I know. That's my sister. I've never, well,
No turn on red.
I know,
You're
okay.
leading.
I'm creeping.
You're creeping.
I'm a creeper. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's how I did all name association was no way in hell. That's off the mark. That's nope.
This
That
one's
one
a
was an
hard
asshole.
no.
That one had no spine.
Yeah.
This one was in your face, like, so cross them off. And then just things that we loved, you know. Funny enough, though, we were thinking of one specific name for Justin, which I'm not going to get into the story here.
Not after.
Another
We've been
day,
at
I'll
15
tell you.
minutes. I'm looking at the time.
I know. Okay, yeah, we're already way over time. And that
We gotta
name
kick it back to
was
Andrew.
taken by someone that was pregnant at the same time that knew that was going to be our name.
Oh.
And that created
rough.
that was tough for me, boy, because I was hormonal pregnant, psycho
Oh
girl.
no.
But now thinking, if he had that name, I'd be like, well, there goes your spine, kid.
Oh, interesting.
Thank you,
So
universe, for like
interesting.
totally streamlining and having us pick the other name, which was equally as good. Now I realize far better.
There you go.
But I've not ever thought about their names being part of who they become because of what they're named.
Right.
Until today.
Yeah.
Until today.
What I do think is important though is like we have. I used to work with a girl named Jillian, and her name was Jillian. It was not Jill, and she made sure you knew that.
Oh, yes.
So she might have come off harsh to certain people, and she definitely did to my mother at the time. When she met my mother, she was serving her. It was at the bar, and but my mom like totally cool, like just no big. She liked that she like owned it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and my name's Jillian, and so she never would make the mistake again. Some people were really taken back by that,
Yeah.
and yet she's never had a nickname because she's owned it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like that quality about her, like Mateo is Mateo, he's not Matt.
Right.
And if you
Right.
call him Matt, like you're lazy, or
Right.
Oh my
Um,
God, so funny that you're saying that right
it's
now. Tie
I love
something
that.
back to that.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
it's-
we never call Megan Meg. That's not why we named her.
Nope.
Some of her friends do, and she doesn't mind, but she knows her name is Megan.
So I ordered Matthew McConaughey's new book.
Green
Yes.
Light. It's so good.
Did
Green
you
Light.
listen to the
yeah,
beginning?
I love it.
Oh.
So he says, I think he says that he was like beaten like by his father like 3 times in his life.
Yeah.
And one of those times was when he answered to someone who called him Matt.
It was the mother. She's like, you're not a
the
doormat.
mother.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Powerful.
Yep. Sorry, it was the mother who beat the shit
No,
out
it's
of
all right.
him, not the dad. No, it's important.
It's an important
Keynote.
tidbit, yeah.
But yeah, so it's funny that like you brought that up because that's what makes me think of it. And I knew, like, I have a friend that I grew up with, and his name is James.
Right.
It's not Jim. It never was Jim. I've never
Right.
even heard anybody call him Jim. And
Right.
I think one person called him Jim, and he said it's James, and he's just a James.
I love the name James.
Yes. And I'm like, and I remember in my mind that was like my first experience of like not really of connecting that there aren't always nicknames.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like there doesn't have to be nicknames. You know what I mean?
We also don't want to miss out on like there's an opportunity for connection too. Like I had one friend in my life, and a couple people have tried it unsuccessfully, but it called me Andy. and I didn't mind being called Andy by her. You know, it was
Right.
like that was what she called me. So there was that part of it. It's not like I
Yeah.
became Andy.
Right.
Right.
You know.
That was just her.
And sometimes there are
could be
just
special.
a few people that
Yeah.
can get away. Like one person calls you X, Y, and Z, and that's like the only person that can ever call
Right.
you that. So I do, yes, agree.
But
with
it
that as
teaches
well.
us that, right? Like as kids growing up, when especially I have a last name that, you know, it's different, right? And I mean, we're not talking about last names, but it's accepting your name first and last and middle, you know, and just like owning it. And that doesn't always come right away.
No, I didn't with mine. I didn't love Lauren for like probably the first half of my life.
Really?
Yeah. But now I really love it. But
Right.
when we were talking about like destiny and, you know, the influence of the name,
Right.
when my daughter was born, she was prepped to be
T.
Gabriella Catherine.
Oh.
Mm.
Literally until she was out in the world, and I looked at her face and I was like, "You're Theodora."
I think her name is so
I love her name.
gorgeous.
And
It's so
she's
good.
named after
and
my
she
ex-husband's
visually
grandfather.
is that person as well.
She's named after my ex-husband's
Oh.
grandfather, Theodore.
Love it.
And I was like, I wanted her to be Taya. I didn't want her to be Thea at the time. Like, I just liked Taya. And I was like, well, Theodora, not
So
Theodora.
pretty.
And I just, when I looked in her eyes, I was like, that's your name. I like that. So in that respect, I think that there is a spiritual, you know, destined flavor
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, to our names. But anyway, that was,
Good
food truck.
stuff.
How do we get a sandwich? Coffee?
Oh my God! Is
Chips?
totally off topic before we cut this off.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a taco truck in Spark Hill. Do you know it?
No.
It's like gourmet tacos.
Really?
When are they
Spark Hill,
open?
New
Can we
York.
take a...
Now? Let's go.
Andrew, you're not
Andrew-
going back to work. We're
You
going to
got-
get tacos.
Like freaking amazing. Okay. Anyway.
So
I need to go there.
I was gonna ask you actually just about the naming thing. So, do you think from, like, if you had to give advice to, let's just say, young parents, up and coming parents,
Yeah.
about the process of naming, because it is sort of a collaborative effort. Like, you know, one has to be willing to say, hey, I want to name my child after my grandfather.
Right.
Oh no, I want to name him after my mom or dad.
Right.
What advice could you guys give to up and coming parents when they come across this conversation with their loved ones?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I know for us, way back when, now this I wasn't as evolved then as I am now. I was on my journey
You were
for
just-
sure,
You had
but I
arms
was a
but
young
no
one.
legs.
I was a little just in the poking out of the egg. And we would literally go over names and possibilities of how they could be made fun of for the name. And then we were like, cross that baby off the list. Like in collaboration with the last name too.
Oh my God.
You have to do that, yeah.
Oh my God! we're just gonna sit and
Julia,
just.
Julia, you have to.
Julia,
say that.
Julia,
Julia,
oh my
Julia.
God, amazing.
I swear it goes back to
have
my,
to-
you have to know what you don't want. You can get rid of
Starting
some.
with that,
It's
right?
easier to just
Right.
kind of get those off the plate and then be left with, yeah. That's actually a great piece of advice.
It's like we would think ahead to
I
like
did not do that, by the
elementary
way.
and middle school. Yeah.
I did not do that, and my daughter's initials are TP, which apparently stand for toilet paper. And I never knew that. And then all through softball, they'd be like, yeah, TP, yeah. And she was like, I hate you. And I was like, I don't even understand
You're like,
what's
I
happening.
love you.
But and I'll leave you with this. This was fun, by the way.
Oh, thanks for joining
We're gonna
us.
welcome you back for another
This is
episode.
awesome.
You're
Yeah, we'll
gonna
do it
think
to
about
be
the meaning
continued.
of life.
Oh yeah.
because,
It'll be
but-
its taco truck episode.
But what if let's just say you don't think too deep about that and you don't realize like the potential nickname, right?
Right.
There is value in humility early on in childhood. So I'm not saying that you have to give them a name so they get made fun of. But
No. Right.
if we subscribe to the belief that everything
That they-
has purpose and the universe is working sort of for us and
Right.
we're just in it, then let's just say they have humility or they face humility earlier than Frank or Joe or Mary.
Right.
Well, okay.
their characters.
they start to
is-
develop these other aspects,
Yeah.
and I think there's opportunity there. So
Well, and that
everywhere.
literally kind of brings
Yeah.
me a sort of, I feel, back full circle to that I kind of believe that the name does influence
who they become.
who they become.
And in that
because,
very example, that could be one of the reasons why.
yeah.
I love that. Wow, this is great.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing with us.
I'm always down.
Oh
This
my
is Destination
God.
Unknown, right?
Yes.
It sure is.
Thank you so
we
much
thank
for having
you.
me.
we may
Thank you,
just call you
Andrew.
another day.
We'll see you next week.
We go for tacos.
I know. All right, Andrew, thank you.
Bye.
That was Andrew. Bye, guys. We went long.
Way too, but amazing.